What if the voice inside of you that's terrified that you'll never make it or go further than you are now isn't proof that you're actually not good enough, but it's proof of how deeply you care about your artistry and about your creative expression? And what if, my friends, you were actually made for this? Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast, where artists of all kinds come to fuel their passion, sharpen their skills, and thrive in their creative lives. I'm your host, Lara Pilcher, life and creativity coach and fellow artist, here to support you on your artistic journey. Whether you're a performer, writer, visual artist, or any kind of artist, this is the space for real talk, practical advice, and inspiring stories. Subscribe and join us each week for more inspiration and actionable insights to fuel your artistry. Let's dive in and get inspired. Welcome back to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. I'm Lara Pilcher, and today's episode is something I've held so close to my heart for a really long time. And it's a message for you, the artist who might be on the edge right now, on the edge of a new year, on the edge of deciding whether to keep going, on the edge of believing something bigger about yourself or shrinking back into old stories. So settle in, because this one really matters. I want to start with a question that aches, a deep question that we dare not ask most of the time. What if I'm simply not good enough? Now, I actually had a friend in London who asked her singing coach this question: where do I measure up? Which is a very brave question. And the coach said, you're good. You're not excellent. You're okay. And that ultimately resulted in her leaving the arts behind and choosing a different career path. And it's a question that we fear. And I'm not saying at all that that was the right thing for her to do, because we can always improve. But just be aware that this is a question many of us carry that some of us haven't articulated and we're scared to ask, or maybe somebody's told us we're not good enough and we are wondering if it's true. Maybe you're a performer submitting self-tapes, or a dancer with auditions circling the calendar, or a singer waiting for someone to say yes. You know this question intimately. If you're a writer staring at an unfinished chapter, or a visual artist fighting the fear of putting work into the world, you know it too. We all feel it as artists deep down. Maybe we're not aware of it. And here's the part most people want to never say out loud because of the shame it carries. But talented artists ask this question more than anyone. And the doubt isn't because you lack skill. It's because you care so much that you're terrified of misusing the chance. It's like the fear isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of importance, how important your art is to you. But we don't talk about this, do we? We pretend confidence is natural, and we pretend clarity is guaranteed, like I know exactly where I'm going. And we look at other artists in comparison and compare and despair, and we whisper, why them? Why not me? And this is only amplified because of social media. What if I'm missing something that they have? What if I'm wasting my life chasing something that's just not going to happen for me? What if I'm the one person who can't make it? These questions eat away at our identity. They blur artistic purpose. They turn vision into fog. These are questions that I've wrestled with over the years and thought, oh my gosh, what if this is me? Like, what if I'm the one that's never going to make it? Or what if I'm the one that isn't good enough and nobody's telling me? Or what if someone did tell me that? And you see what I'm saying? And as the new year approaches, the fog can feel heavier. And there's pressure to reinvent yourself and set goals and get dramatic and post achievements and pretend you're fine. But I want to offer you something different in this episode, something quieter, something braver. What if you were never meant to earn the right to be an artist? What if you were made to be one, designed, created to be one? Not because you produce, not because you succeed, not because someone approves of you or says yes to you when you try for something, but because something inside you is alive in a way nothing else ever will be. Alive when you create, alive with that artist identity. People see the outcome, the show, the performance, the book, the gallery, the reel that you made. But you and I both know that the real work is internal. It's the emotional stamina to keep going. It's the invisible courage to believe in yourself, maybe when the world isn't saying yes. Or maybe the world is and you've got to show up again and do it again. It's the private decision to return again tomorrow to the work of being a creative, even when yesterday broke you just a little bit or maybe a lot. The kind of identity, this kind, doesn't come from external validation. Oh, but we so try. We so try to get those likes up, those views up, those yeses that are the external validation. But this kind of identity, it comes from understanding who you are at your core. And that's why this episode is called, What If You Were Made for This? Not hypothetically, not aspirationally, not motivationally, but ontologically. This word means at the level of being, because you exist, because you are designed to be creative. The part of you that keeps showing up, even when you hate how hard it feels, that is the evidence that it's your design. If you weren't made for this, you would have quit already. You would have moved on already. You would have redirected your energy into something easier and more predictable, because it's not easy and it's not predictable. But you haven't, and that matters. This has mattered for me, this conversation, because there's so many layers of rejection. I've told the story before of how hard it was to get my book, Audacious Artistry, out into actual signed contract with a traditional publisher. It was one of the hardest journeys of my life. And the book is called Audacious Artistry, Reclaim Your Creative Identity and Thrive in a Saturated World. It's written, and I was tested on the very thing I was writing on the entire time from start to finish. It was so challenging, but yet there's a part of me that just knows that I am meant to show up in the world like this, that I'm designed for this. This is what I was made for. Now, we know from neuroscience that identity shapes behavior far more deeply than goals ever do. And studies from Stanford and NYU point to the same core truth. When a person identifies as something, not just striving for something, their perseverance skyrockets. So this is where we break things down for you. Artists who see themselves as trying to become tend to burn out. Artists who know they are tend to rise. This is because the human brain moves towards coherence. We act in alignment with who we believe we are. And that's why I love the work of artist mindset coaching that I do, because these little shifts can be so transformative, and they're actually very, very big. So if your artistic identity is questioned by comparison or by rejection or by silence or all of those horrible things that we don't enjoy, your behavior can collapse. Your effort as an artist can collapse. But what if your identity is grounded? If you know this is who you are meant to be an artist, then your behavior becomes sustainable. And that's why I've been able to keep coming back and keep creating, even though I would say that 95% of my life has been rejections and no's. But the 5%, that evidence that there is creativity and a love and the constant return to my artist identity is because I know it's who I'm meant to be. If you know this is who you are, artist friend, behavior becomes sustainable. Creativity flows, performance rises, risk becomes possible, courage returns, and this is not self-belief fluff. This is a cognitive reality. Identity, as in who you believe you are and know you are, even deeper work there, the knowing. Identity fuels momentum. So like I said, when I got knocked back, I lost my literary agent. I got dropped after a year with an editor. When I was laying on my back looking at the roof going, what am I doing? I must my book must be terrible. I was like, no, there's something in me that knows I'm meant to rise up and write this book. And that very same day, I went and booked a rather expensive writing coach. My work got clearer, my writing got better, my ideas had more clarity. I rewrote the book. I pitched again. I got more rejections, but I believed in the work. I knew it was better than my first version, the version that altered in getting dropped. I knew I had something good after that journey. And I was able to get offered a hybrid publishing thing. That's where you pay to play. And I was about to sign it. But something in me was disappointed because I knew that it was worth more. And I'm glad that I didn't go ahead with that, because moments later, I got offered a traditional publishing contract, the kind where you don't pay to play, the kind where you don't self-publish. And I'm not dissing that. Those things matter. And for some people, they have been more successful going down those routes. But for me, the moral of the story is that it took incredible tenacity to reach that point. But there was a deep knowing underneath it that I was meant to write this book. And if you would like to get that in your hands, it's the very thing we're talking about. Head to lara@biancapilcher.com/book. It's on pre-order now. It means a lot to me, actually, if you go knowing the journey and order it. You'll see you can get it at all of the places, whatever country you live in. Identity is the heartbeat of everything I teach. And so that book, Audacious Artistry, it will walk you through more deeply the work of how to keep showing up. And if you want to strengthen your artistic identity, if you want to build resilience in a saturated world, head to lara@biancapilcher.com/book. And alongside it, I have a free, totally free coaching masterclass to help you begin again as you go into the new year and start a new year grounded, not scattered, certain, not apologetic. And if that's something you want to explore, you can find the details on my website, lara@biancapilcher.com, and you'll see free masterclass listed there, or just head to masterclass. But for now, just stay here with me. There is nothing you need to do. You just need to breathe and you need to listen. Because the truth that most artists never hear is that you're actually not behind and you're not late and you are not proving yourself. You are developing. What looks like delay is often incubation. What feels like silence is often formation. Think about dancers training for years before stepping into major roles, or actors auditioning endlessly before landing that one life-changing part, or writers rewriting manuscripts from scratch like I did before they click the submit to another literary agent or publisher, or singers finding their work through years of invisible practice, finding their voice, finding their style. No one who does meaningful work skips this part. Not even Taylor Swift. Yes, she had a break young, but she was tenacious. She was in Nashville. She was treading the boards, and she was actually as a teenager writing for other artists, which was refining her voice. And that was her first point of actually entry, even though she wanted to be the recording singer-songwriter that we see her to be today. That was her ultimate dream. She started refining her craft and writing for others and trusting her own artistic voice as a teenager when nobody else was really writing in that space. It was just that slightly older age group that was where people were. She was writing for teens, and that was an untapped market. So trust your voice, trust your timing, no matter what age you are. Like I said, no one who does meaningful work skips this part. There's an invisible practice that happens. And yet, this is where most of the self-doubt forms, in the invisible middle. So if you're in that place today, that quiet, confusing place that feels like despair and grief, the lonely middle, let me say this with compassion and conviction. It isn't evidence that you're failing. It's evidence that you're becoming who you are. It's already who you are. And in everything, Believe me, there is a refining fire that is happening in your deep soul that allows you to keep showing up because you were made for this. So here's your creative spark, which is the weekly challenge if you're new here that I give in every episode. Write a single sentence on a piece of paper. I was made for this. And then underneath, write the artistic action you're most afraid of taking right now and do that one thing, a step towards it. So again, get a piece of paper, write on it, I was made for this, and underneath, write the artistic action you're most afraid of taking right now and do that one thing, but not perfectly, not bravely, not beautifully, just do it. Why? Because action is proof of identity. Now, as we move into this new year, I want this episode to make you feel like it's a marker for you, a reminder that identity is not earned, it's inhabited, it's lived in. And if you're listening to this podcast, if something in you refuses to let go of creativity, if the artist in you is alive and still asking questions, you were made for this. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another episode on whatever platform you're on. And thank you for being here. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for showing up again. And if you want to go deeper, don't forget the book Audacious Artistry and the free masterclass. You know where to find me, lara@biancapilcher.com. And I'll see you inside the next episode. Stay audacious. Stay alive to your art, to yourself, to your identity as an artist. Stay true to who you are because you were made for this. I'm with you on the journey, friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an inspiring conversation or actionable insight. You can read the show notes and learn more at larabiancapilcher.com. And be sure to share this episode with fellow artists who could use a little extra inspiration. Until next time, keep creating, stay audacious, and remember, your artistry matters.